Okay guys, so I have found my two oxygen sensor wires. I got them separated, bank 1, bank 2. This series of taking my multimeter and going to the beep setting, I like to call it. I just stuck my probe to this sensor, and then I poked around and found this wire. So that is bank 2, that's this side. This bank 1, this is driver's side. So I'm going to put my relay up here for the heater. And what I've read, which I like, is someone uses the trigger wire going to the fuel pump relay. That way the heater is only on when the fuel pump's on. So I'm going to piggyback off of the trigger wire to the fuel pump relay to my trigger wire on the heated oxygen sensor relay. And so that's my trigger wire. Obviously I'll need a ground, so I can just ground it anywhere up here. And then these are my signal wires to the computer. Now, if you guys don't feel comfortable working with wiring, I do not recommend you play with this. I know you guys are probably sitting there all scared with my razor blade going across the wires, but I've been doing this for a while. Barely scribing enough to tear the tape, and then I just start ripping it. So that's a comfort level that I'm on. Okay, so here are 2 wires. I want as much as I can. I guess this is enough. Bye-bye. Let's find this one. And bye. Okay. Alright, let's wire up our relay for our oxygen sensors. So I've already taken out our wires. These are an extension for our oxygen sensor. I did that so I can cut this end up and still have a plug. So the first thing you need to do is identify what your wires are. So you're going to have an A, B, C, D. Okay, so what I found online is A and C are ground, and then D will be 12 volts to the heater. B is our signal. So all I did was I took my ground wires, taped them together. I know those go to ground. This one is my 12 volt to my heater, and this is my signal wire to the computer. And I did that to both pigtails. So the only thing going to the relay is this 12 volts. So that's what I'm going to get rid of first, is 12 volts. Ground wire goes to 85. Trigger wire goes to 86. Trigger wire 36. Okay. Battery goes to 30, which is the bottom. We can make 2 eyelets. Guess it would be 3 when you include the relay ground. Alright, now we're at the point where we want to find the signal wire to the fuel pump relay. Okay, I think the signal wire is the dark green. I don't know. So I'm going to put my meter on. And we're going to see if I get 12 volts when I turn the key to on. Let's hope this works. That's it. Went to 12 volts. It primed the fuel pump, then it went to 0. That's the one I want. So we want to take our relay trigger wire, connect it to this dark green and white one. Guys, there's not very many easy ways to do this, especially since I can't find my solder. I mean, I could just cut the wire and then use a heat shrink again. I really don't want to cut it all the way off. So I guess we're just gonna Mickey Mouse it until I get some solder. We just want it to connect today, so I took my strippers, two spots, which hopefully will, if I can just shave this. There we go. There we go. Alright. fix everything. Okay, so I kind of made a boo-boo when I did my oxygen sensors. Actually, I made two. So one of the boo-boos I made is I had took all the ground wires and just connected them together up here. And I guess that's a no-no. And the other one is, the other boo-boo I made is the sensor that I picked out. It's for a newer LS engine, and I should have used an older LS engine. So I'm going to swap them out. I'm hoping I can still use the pigtail that I have. Of course, I got this side all jacked up and I can't reach anything. Okay, so I'm going to pull the sensor off of this side first. I think it'll be easier to work with, just in case I have to reuse it. So this sensor, as you can see, has two slots, and the one we want only has one slot. I'm hoping it'll still line up and plug in. Oh, perfect. Okay. I had a hard time finding information with that on the internet. Okay. So I can change the sensors, but first I need to find the wiring, find the ground wires, and see which ones I need. This end of the plug. Looking at it this way with the locking connector on the right. Top right is A, top left is B, lower right is C, lower left is D. So looking at it that way, so A and B are going to be the yellow wires. So I want to take the yellow off the ground here. So I need to take this out. Zip, zip. Now this is just a ground, so this can be as tacky as I want it to be. So these black wires are okay to stay up here. These yellow wires are not. So since they're just ground wires, they're not gonna arc or spark or anything or cause a fire if I just cut them. Okay, so we can technically put these grounds back on. We're done with these. Now I don't know if I've had any problem with these oxygen sensors hooked up the way they are. I do know that I have kind of a stumble under hard acceleration. I'm not sure what it is. But this car, or truck rather, was I don't know, somebody just toyed around with everything, and caused havoc. The EGR system wasn't connected. You know, we got the map sensor was connected, but the EGR and the EGR solenoid was disconnected. It didn't have a purge tank, so I just installed a new purge tank, and I just got that hooked up. I'm waiting for one more piece, but it'll work for today. I'm not driving it anyways. Okay, so this gets a little trickier with 3 wires. I don't know if you've seen me do this, but I like to fan them out, twist them together, and make them lock in real nice. Yeah, it gets a little trickier with an extra wire. I made these wires kind of short. That's going to make it even harder. Let's give me maybe just a little more room. Okay, I'm going to make it just a little more easier. So I'm just going to fan it. Fan it. Fan it. So I'm just going to hold these two together with the fan going the same way. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, that is more difficult than I thought it would be. Push our fans together. Go down as far as we can. And twist. Now I forgot to put my heat sink solder connector on. Whoops. So we're just gonna come in from this point. I cut this wire pretty long, so what I've read is you want these wires, the ground wire, to be attached to the engine somewhere. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find a place on the engine somewhere to ground it to. Okay, so we have both those 2 sensors connected. So I'm going to run my ground. Right over to here. Right now I'm just going to do it dirty. But I will eventually clean it up and put it in the loom. But let's just get it in for now.